Well, welcome everyone to another episode of Real People, Real Stories. We're so excited that you could join us tonight. My name is Dr. Barbie Phillips, and I'm coming to you from Northwest Oklahoma. I am a chiropractic physician for people and animals, and I was introduced to this technology just a little over 5 years ago from our co-host, who we'll introduce in just a few minutes, Kathleen Oliveri. So, if you're new to the topic of redox molecules, which we are going to talk about tonight, let me share just a little bit of information to introduce you to them. Tonight, we are going to be talking about this cell signaling supplement, ASEA Redox, and it comes in the liquid form as well as a tube called Renew 28, which is a gel, and then our most recent Redox Gold gel, which we are going to be talking about as well. And these molecules, which our body produces natively, we are born with redox molecules. And what can happen after about the age of puberty is we lose about 1% per year ability to make these. So our cells can no longer communicate like they need to effectively for us to be healthy. Also, stress and toxins and things can deplete these molecules. And so along comes this one of a kind technology that is changing lives. And we're going to hear more about that from our guest tonight. So when we consume these molecules, it's very important to understand that the molecules are really tiny. And when they get into the cells, they absorb very quickly because they're tiny. It acts as a cascade effect to the cells around it. And what happens, it turns good cells on and bad cells off, which is really great because we all want good cells. And once this cascade continues over time, it increases our body's ability to handle stress and increases overall wellness. So I will mention a disclaimer here before we introduce our co-host and our guest that we are not intending to diagnose, treat, prevent, or cure any medical condition. We are just going to hear from our guest tonight about her personal experience with these amazing technologies. So I will now turn it over to our co-host, Kathleen Oliveri.
Thank you, Dr. Barbie. Good evening, everybody. I'm Kathleen Oliveri, and I am coming to you from Starkville, Mississippi. And I have been on these molecules for over 6 years and have just loved them. And I'm so excited to be joining you and talking to our guest today, Connie. Oh my goodness, it's so good to see you. And so welcome to Real
Thank
People,
you.
Real Stories. Tell me about yourself and a little bit of your background.
Okay. Well, I've been a teacher and a coach for 34 years now. 8 of those years I stayed home, raising 3 boys. So it actually been 42 years of teaching had I just taught all the way through. Um, I teach science, and I also coach track and cross country, and I've done basketball for many years. I just haven't done it for the last couple. So, and I live in Chandler, Oklahoma. This is my 10th year here at this school.
Wonderful. Oh my goodness. Wow. What a background. That's amazing. Thank you, Connie. How were you introduced to the ASEA redox signaling molecules, or what kind of sparked your interest?
I had no idea about it until my sister Tanya Chandler. She called me up a couple of times, and it was in the middle of cross country season, August 21st, or August of 21. And she said, Connie, I think I have something here that might help your knees. And I said, and she called me several times. No, I can't go. I can't come. And I said, I'm gone. So she was very persistent, and I'm so thankful that she did not give up on me. She brought it by, and in 15 minutes before I went to practice, she brought it to my classroom. She said, I want you to try this. And she gave me one of the small tubes of gel. And she told me to drink this liquid. And she told me exactly what to do. And I just did the 2 ounces in the morning, 2 ounces in the evening. I rubbed the gel on my neck like she told me to. And she said, put it on your knees. And she said, and drink lots of water. She said, you have to drink lots of water. So I did exactly what she told me to. And I did not deviate. I did not miss. And that's how, I was about to retire. I had told no one. I had scheduled 2 knee replacements for the summer, just in case I could get back into it and go again August 22. She had no idea I was contemplating retiring, because you walk a lot in my sports, and my knees would blow up like balloons. I'd ice them every night. I was living on ibuprofen,
Oh my.
800 milligrams morning and evening. It was pretty bad. So that's where I was, and I was desperate. And my little sister just decided to say, hey, I think you ought to try this.
Mhm. So what did you think after you started to take the molecules and rub the gel on your knees? What happened next?
I didn't see really quick results, not even in the first week or the second. But sometimes you don't know that you hurt, or you have discomfort, or you don't realize that something could be better until it is.
Mhm.
And one of the first things I noticed was, like, I'm not as tired as I used to be, and I'll run 18 hours a day at least, and sometimes 20. I started sleeping better. I had not slept through the night since my first son was born, and he's 26.
Oh
He's gonna be
my.
or he's gonna be 27. I can't remember.
Mhm.
Um, but I'd always wake up every couple hours.
Mhm.
Always have to go to the bathroom. It was one of those things, wake up, nurse your babies and that kind of thing. Um, so I started actually sleeping through the night some. It was a couple hours at a time, but I gradually increased to 6 to sometimes 8 hours.
Wow.
Um, those were the little things that I
Mhm.
began to notice, but the big one, the huge one that really made a believer out of me, I guess you should say. Um, it was in October of 21, so it was about 90 days, which is basically the protocol for to get real big changes. Um, I was sitting in my classroom, I'd taken roll at my computer, and I was getting up to go to the lectern. And I always had to use the arms of my chair to get up because it was so much discomfort on my knees.
Mhm.
And I would actually do, a push up instead of getting up
Yeah.
with my legs. And I got up and went to the back to grab something. And I realized halfway to the back of my room that I did not use the arms of my chair. I was so shocked. I stopped in the middle of the classroom, and all the kids are looking at me like, okay, what are you doing, coach? And I did it 2 more times. And then I turned around to my class and I said, "Did you see what happened?" And they all went, "Yeah, your knees didn't go off like a shotgun, and you didn't use the arms of your chairs. What's going on, coach?" And I said, "I don't know, but my knees, I have no discomfort anymore. It's like, I don't know, they got a good greasing or something." And that was the big thing. That was the big.
Mhm. Mhm.
And there've since been some other things. I had extreme discomfort in all joints of my body except my
Mhm.
skull because they're fixed. Um, that went away.
Hmm.
Uh, cramps in my legs at night,
Mhm.
I'd always get those, went away. My eyesight has increased over the last 4 years. I started dropping the liquid in my eyes
Mhm.
because of allergies and things like that. And I have a scar over my right eye
Mhm.
and over the pupil. And I asked the doctor this time around, she goes, "Oh, even your bad eye's gotten better." And I said, "Okay, you tell me what's going on. What are you seeing? I
Mhm.
know I'm getting more light in." She said, "Well, your scar tissue is getting thinner.
Hmm.
So it does reduce scar tissue." Will I ever get full sight? Don't know. But hey, my eyesight's getting better in both eyes, my good eye and my bad eye. So
You
those
know,
are some big things.
that is amazing, Connie. And of course, I will go back to at the beginning when you said little things like sleep. That
Mhm.
is a big thing.
Huge.
We don't think about it, but it really is so much
Yes.
part of our health. So that is a big thing. But when you are really wanting your knees to feel better and to get rid of some of that discomfort, and everybody's different. So for it to take 3 months, okay. So
Oh,
then after those 3 months, then did you continue taking the 2 ounces and 2 ounces, or has that ever changed for you?
no, I actually increased. I really don't have problems saying how old I am. I'll be 64 in September. So I because of athletic injuries from college and high school, because I played college ball, and just continuing to work out and not treat my body nice
Mm-hmm.
as I got older. Some of those things come back to haunt you
Yeah.
because your redox molecules decrease and their, mitochondria decreases its ability to make them. And
Mm-hmm.
as I've gotten older, I've just increased the dosage. I went from 4 to 4 to 8 to 8. I'm at 10 to 10 now. And at a track meet, I might throughout the day drink anywhere from 2 to 4 ounces, you know, right before the afternoon, right before we end, and then do my regular 10 when I get home. But it just depends. I mean, I tore my body up, you
Mm-hmm.
know, the
Mm-hmm.
athlete tore her body up. And so I'm paying for it, but I didn't have those knee replacements.
Oh, wow.
I canceled all that. It's never come back. Um, and so I'm doing pretty good.
That is amazing, Connie. And let me just say, you do not look the age you just said. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
But yeah, I'm like you, whatever, it's just an age.
Yeah.
Now we have a new product that was just released this month. And have you tried it? And if
Oh,
so, what do you think?
there was I love it. Absolutely love it. My kids love it because some of my kiddos are using it. Um, but I had an issue in my elbows, right on the inside to touch. It hurt. It felt like a bruise. It felt like a bruise. That's what it felt like, but it wasn't bruised.
Mm-hmm.
And even though the joint discomfort went completely away in the joints, it was still something in the tissue there that never went away. So when I got my gold, um, I thought I'm going to try this. People are saying things that they just couldn't quite get rid of. I mean, just the gold just did the trick.
Mm-hmm.
And I put it on consistently for 3 days in a row. There's nothing there anymore. Nothing there anymore. So it's really great. I use it on my knees still. I use it on my elbows,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, I had some really bad headaches that came in from the fires here in Oklahoma and
Yes.
the horrible winds.
Mhm.
And
I
had to
was
set up.
out there when the winds were there. Let me just say,
Yes,
oh my gosh.
we were at a track meet. I had to come home early because the fires were pretty close to the house. We're fine. We're fine.
Okay,
But it was
okay,
only
that's
about a
good.
mile and a half or two from two different directions. So, but that night I had a pretty bad headache from all the smoke and the dust. And so I've always used the gel on my face or anywhere around, but I put the gel on and I thought, I'm just going to try the gold. And
Mhm.
I did the gold too behind my ears and just anywhere where I felt like there was an issue. And as soon as I finished putting it on, it was gone. Went back to bed.
And not to mention the stress of all of that. Track meet with the wind. I don't see how they ran in the wind and then the fires.
It
That was
was
a lot.
difficult. Yeah, we have a distance runner. She is on it on the product. She uses the gel, the
Mhm.
Redox Gold, and the liquid. And she's about 95 pounds soaking wet. And she took all of her stuff with her to
Mhm.
the meet. And, a couple of gusts of 30, 40, 50-mile-an-hour winds, we thought she was going to blow off the track. It was
Yes.
so everybody was having the allergy issues and things like that.
Mhm.
But um, I use my drops in my eyes when they itch, and I have a nasal sprayer that I can spray the
Mhm.
Redox liquid up my nose. Of course, I drink it and I gel and I use the gold too. So,
And I think that's a good reminder. It's even for me that, how you can use these products
mhm.
and not just drinking it or just discomfort, but I like the reminder about the eyes, the face, discomfort in those areas. So thank you
Yes,
because I needed to hear that.
yes,
In reminding me how I can use those more effectively. So thank you,
yeah,
because I think that's good to
yeah.
mention. Okay, so the business opportunity is part of ASEA. Is there anything with that you can share about being a part of a business opportunity with this, or is that something that you are interested in or have done?
Oh yes, I'm definitely interested in it. I will tell you this from a coach's standpoint. Um, I have spurts of up and down
Mhm.
when, and so, but that's okay because I don't lose anything from it.
Mhm.
But it's a great business opportunity.
Mhm.
I love it. I love working with people, sharing this technology with people. You just can't go wrong with it because it works. It's not a
Mhm.
gimmick. They didn't start this business and decide, let's find a product. They had a product and they needed a way to get it out.
Mhm.
And that's what I love
Mhm.
about this business.
Could you speak to the company or the leadership in the company and how that makes a difference?
Oh, absolutely. I've been in another business before, uh, quite a while ago now.
Mhm.
And there's no comparison. The
Mhm.
people,
Mhm.
um, the, management, they are there for us.
Mhm.
They're always there for us. The times that I've called in, had to call into the corporation, so helpful.
Mhm.
Um, you know, Tyler, I don't know. I can't say enough about Hunter. All those guys that come in, they'll come into our Super Saturdays. They'll come in wherever they can.
Mhm.
And I know I've never gotten to go to the corporation.
Mhm.
That's one of my things to do.
Mhm.
But I know that when my sister Tanya flew in, and they were sitting down and visiting with them, it's like, what can we do for you?
Mhm.
It's not, they are not of the mindset, what can we do for them? It is what can we do
Mhm.
for you? And
Mhm.
that is so different in corporate America.
Yeah.
It's not top heavy, and they
Mhm.
do everything, and they actually listen. They listen to you. They want to hear your struggles. They want to hear what you think,
Mhm.
and they don't just say, "Oh, that's so nice. Now we'll go about our business." They
Right.
actually listen and they try to incorporate
Mhm.
and hear what we're saying and doing.
Mhm.
I can't imagine working with another corporation other than the ASEA Corporation.
Thank you for sharing that because I also agree, but it's good to hear it from somebody else. So what would you tell somebody who's watching, listening to this today, if they're on the fence about getting started on the product? What would you say to them?
Don't wait. Had I waited
Mhm.
and had I said no, I've got my laptop on my knees, that's why I keep
Oh.
wiggling here. Um, had I waited and told Tanya, I think I want to think about it,
Mm-hmm.
there's no telling where I would have been. I mean, I was at a critical point in my career of trying to make a decision what I needed to do. And I think that was providence in action there. I think the timing was just right. I didn't wait. Um, and I jumped in with both feet.
Mm-hmm.
And I will tell anybody who may be on the line, kind of wondering if they should or shouldn't, you need to do it. That's
Mm-hmm.
all there is to it. Because you don't know if there's something going on inside your system that hasn't popped up yet. But as we get older and we age, those things pop up. And we have to, if we don't take care of them, if we don't take care of them with something that's non toxic, it can't hurt you, that can only help you, then you're going to spend money on meds, and you're going to spend money on doctor bills, and you're going to
Yeah.
spend money on this and that. There's just, when I began to see it that way, it was just like, there's no way I wouldn't do this. There's no way I would ever stop using this. I think I would probably be in a wheelchair right now
Mm-hmm.
because I mean, I was that torn up. My body was that torn up from sports. So
Unbelievable.
I just,
Wow. Connie, before I ask you my final question, I do want to open this up for questions. So,
mhm.
other people out there, this is your time to ask Connie any questions that you have. You can just simply turn on your microphone or video, and we would love to have your questions. While I ask this last question of Connie, any final words, anything you wanted to share with me that I've not asked you about?
Well, I do want to thank both of you for inviting me on. That I consider that a high honor to be asked to do this. Um, you know, anybody who's just looking and thinking, even if you decide this is not for you, you probably know somebody
Mm-hmm.
who has some physical discomfort or whatever. We all know people.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you don't think it's for you, I would say you need to let these ladies know, or you need to introduce them so they can help them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I mean, just today we finished practice, and one of my kiddos had maxed out in the weight room, and he's a distance runner, and he was cramping and he was hurting. I said, "Oh, come here." He goes, "Oh, I'm fine." I said, "No, you're not fine. You're complaining." And I said, "Here, take this." And I pulled out my gold, put it in his hand. I said, "Just put it in your hands and rub it around and then just slap it on your legs, wherever the
Mm-hmm.
discomfort is." And I had him do it twice, and he went, "Wow," because he was limping and he didn't limp away. So, my kids' parents, I do build relationships with them so they don't go, "What are you doing to my child?"
Exactly.
Um, but I did tell him, I said, "This is why kiddos can work out longer,
Mm-hmm.
harder, better, and become better at their sport or whatever they're trying to do,
Mm-hmm.
because they recover faster with this right here." And he goes, "That is so cool, coach." I said, "Yeah, it feels good, doesn't it?" And so he goes, "Yeah, I'm not in discomfort anymore." So, yeah, I would say, guys got to give it a shot.
Yeah. And what a great feeling as a coach to help
Hmm.
your kiddos that way. But like you say, it's a great opportunity to do that. So, Dr. Barbie, I know you'll come on and do any closing words. So, go ahead, Dr. Barbie. And then, are there any questions out there? It's your opportunity.
We have a shy group tonight. Connie, you definitely covered a lot of areas tonight, and it's really wonderful that you have such a rapport with the parents that you can really help your kids in the track profession. My niece runs track, and I know the gold has really helped a knee issue that she has been having for quite some time. So great job. Way to pay it forward there. We would like to mention to everyone that these are recorded with our guests, and you can find these recordings on Creation Chiropractic YouTube channel. Our next Real People, Real Story will be on April 14th. We do these on the second and the fourth Monday of every month. So we have a couple weeks off, and then we'll be resuming on the 14th, where we will have another guest that we will interview. Connie, thank you so much for giving us your time. And you are a lovely guest and so easy to talk with and interview tonight. So we appreciate you. Everyone, have a great night. Until next time, when we will find out from another guest how these wonderful redox molecules are changing lives. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you.